Hi, this video is about making sourdough starter. I started this back in March and this is July already, so it has been over 4 months now. And in the beginning, it was not really successful because I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't have much accurate information about this project. So after trying this many times, there are two things I have to emphasize, and that is about the water and flour. So the water, I always use tap water that has been sitting in the room temperature for 24 hours. And the flour, the regular bleached all-purpose flour should not be used. It has to be bread flour or whole wheat flour. So on day one here, I have half a cup of flour and quarter cup of water. Mix them well and then seal it with plastic completely and leave it at room temperature for 24 hours. I know there are some other recipes that tells me that to cover it loosely so the mixture inside can breathe in and out, but that did not work for me. However, I always have to cover it completely. So that's what needs to happen on day one. Now on day two, grab the same amount of flour and water and add it to the mixture of day one, combine them together. So that's what needs to happen on day two. Again, cover it completely. So on day three here, let's say this mixture here is from day two. On day three here, I discard half of this mix, and this is 60 grams of flour and 60 grams of water. Add this together and combine it to the mixture from day two. On day four, same thing repeats again. Discard half of it, add 60 grams of flour and 60 grams of water. So I said bread flour or whole wheat flour should be used. It is because those flour tend to have more naturally existing microorganisms to give you better success rate on this project of making sourdough starter. So that's the main reason. I learned after trying with all-purpose flour by mistake in the beginning. So anyway, on day five, same thing repeats. Discard half of it, 60 grams of flour and 60 grams of water to be added. So by the end of day five, you should start seeing some activity in the form of bubbles on top of the mixture. So on day six, hopefully there should be more activity there. By day six, you can start feeding it twice, every 12 hours. So every 12 hours, discard half of the mix, add 60 grams of flour and 60 grams of water. That needs to happen twice a day, every 12 hours. So on day 7, same thing repeats again, twice a day. So, and on day 8, you should be able to see this, ideally, hopefully, very strong, healthy looking starter. So back to the beginning, when I was using all-purpose flour without knowing anything better, and later I found that I needed to use whole wheat flour. So, but we didn't have any whole wheat flour in the kitchen, so I had to kind of improvise somehow, which is this. This is a mixture of whole grains like barley and wheat and wild rice and all brown rice and all that. So I have to kind of improvise by putting this in a blender, and somehow I pulverize it. So I ended up having X amount of whole grain flour. So I start using some of this whole grain flour instead of using all-purpose flour. Some portion of it, I start using this flour I made. So back to the sourdough starter here. When a sourdough starter is very active and healthy like this, it is the perfect time to work on your leaven. So leaven is the middle process. Anyway, you need 2 heaping spoons of this and 200 milliliters of lukewarm water, 1 cup of AP flour, 1 cup of whole wheat flour that is needed. Combine them and leave it in the room temperature, and again cover it. So by about 20 hours after, but the volume should be doubled. So that's what is needed to make actual sourdough bread. So I should make another video on that. So this is how I learned in a hard way of making very healthy, successful sourdough starter. So I'll see you in the next video of making actual sourdough bread in the next video. Thanks for watching.